Welcome to the LongBox Paradox, episode 96. We are back again on schedule. Thank you for coming and joining us. We were a little late getting our books this week. I managed
You were too?
a little bit. I had to go all digital because I got lazy and tired and I
Yeah.
didn't want to go to the shop.
Yeah.
Also, weirdly, Florida, even though we have the most cases in the nation, reopened the entire state today.
Good luck.
Yeah, our governor sucks.
Yeah, DeSantis. Yeah. If only, people would have been there to be like, hey, don't vote for this guy. But, you could have had Andrew, was it Andrew Gillum?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we are creeping steadily up onto episode 100. We have already nailed down a guest for it.
Because this is 96, so like a month away.
And for October, we're going to have a horror movie assignment every week because it's spooky month and I love horror movies. Jen says she loves them, but doesn't watch a lot of movies lately.
I don't watch a lot of stuff lately. I watch my eyelids a lot lately. That's gonna be about it, folks. My life is a horror story, so I watch that 24/7.
So on a good point, nothing bad in the comic industry happened
that we know of. That we know of yet. Yeah.
I haven't heard from the Underground Network.
The Whisper Network.
You're in the Women's Whisper Network. Yo,
the Whisper.
John, hey. Everybody, thank you for being here. Appreciate seeing you all here. So let's get into the books because I've got a lot this week.
Yeah, same here. I mean, I feel like I didn't read all like three, or I read more than three, but I haven't read all of them yet.
Same here.
So like I don't know, because last week I was like, okay, let's do this, and I read like all 20 fucking books that I had. But then this week I got them a little bit late, and X of Swords was a thick boy.
Did you happen to read X-Men 12 before reading that? Because
I did.
That's a fucking issue.
Yeah, so I did go ahead and I picked up here I've got my stacky stack right here. Let me go ahead and
X-Men 12 $20 book right now.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
So I will be honest, I didn't really keep up with this series like past the first couple of them, but I did go ahead and I bought 11 and 12 because it was still available at the shop. And just based on reading these two, like I agree, you do kind of need to read 11 and 12 to get into X of Swords, but I feel like you can still do it without it.
Kind of clean, but having the history of what happened with Apocalypse and was it Araco, whatever, Krakoa Jr.
Yeah, I'm like trying to figure. Okay, so here's the thing: is that like I love these books, and I feel like Hickman, like I'm a fan. Like he does some just big things, and I definitely see it in this. And I'm like looking for those patterns, and I'm like, okay, Krakoa, Araka, and then like there's a point where what's his name, the Summoner, says something about like Arakeen, and I kept wanting to say Arrakis. Maybe it's just because like we're reading Dune, and so. Anyways,
issue 12 was an entire like info dump.
It really was.
Issue was like the Hickman of Hickmanist issues ever.
And I know I say this a lot, and this is a very big compliment, but I get so many East of West vibes from this, especially even with the character design. There were moments where I'm like, wait, this is a Pepe Larraz? And I'm like, this isn't Nick Dragata who did East of West. So
no, Summoner 100% is like feels like a Dragota like East of West character.
100%. And so I'm looking, my dumbass is like looking over for the like crossover capabilities of it. So yeah, what are your thoughts? Because I'm just going to go into a big old info dump on this.
Yeah, I figure let's just start ahead with X of Swords.
Yeah, let's get into it.
I really liked it. Like you said, it's a thick boy, and jumping into it without it reading issue 12, you might be lost for like a minute.
Yeah. I feel like this definitely warrants another reread. I was hoping to do another read before this because let's see who we have. We've got the, um, I don't know, we've got some tarot readings going on.
Yes.
And
Also, Apocalypse, when he goes and meets with the Quiet Council, they're like, "You built the gate without telling us." He's like, "Well, Krakoa didn't have a problem with it."
yeah. And I love the relationship. What is it, Cypher, who's like
Yes.
speaking to the island, and like that back and forth is just, it's so interesting. So for anyone who hasn't read it, like 100% highly recommend giving it a read. You don't necessarily have to read 11 and 12, but I think it fits into everything that's going on.
I recommend reading issue 11 just because it's one of those like Magneto issues where like
Yeah.
he is as badass as he possibly could be.
Yeah.
He literally like ends the was the Empire thing by himself with like, well, you
Mm-hmm.
gotta explain these satellites you dropped. He's like, oh, you mean the ones that didn't exist up
The
there?
ones that we don't talk about, and just, whatever, they are what they are. In like such true Magneto fashion. Like, I feel like this is Magneto at his best.
I guess I'll have to get dressed. It's just like,
Hmm. Like, oh, which outfit do I want to choose today? Like, there was that moment where he has like all of the outfits out. I thought that was
he's
kind
just
of
sitting there
precious.
meditating naked in his hut. Like, I'm just like,
Hmm. Hmm.
this is interesting. But it was a great issue for like if you just wanted Magneto unleashed.
Yeah.
Form a volcano. I need that iron.
So John just posted in the comments went full nerd, having to read the entire thing twice. I'm probably going to read 11 and 12. Since let me think, I have a subscription to Marvel U, and so I'll probably be reading, I think they have 1 through 8 on there. So I'm going to try to go through 1 through 8. I might buy 9 and 10 digitally and then go and read 11 and 12. That's going to be a lot of reading.
Read
So
12 Rod to get the full experience before you get into X of Swords, bro.
yeah. It was really fun, and it's supposed to be 22 issues, and so that's a
That's a
lot.
commitment.
That is a commitment because that's, I are they coming out weekly? Are they coming out monthly? Because even if that's one a month coming out, that's a commitment for
Well,
like the next 2 years.
it's 6 or 7 X titles currently. I think it's 6.
Hmm.
So I think it's like 2.5 months.
Oh, so it's going to be
It's just
like,
going through the main titles. This first part
uh-huh.
was just the standalone to set it up, and
Got
then
it.
we'll run through the titles and probably end on a X of Swords
Got it.
epilogue or whatever the fuck they're gonna call it.
Got it.
I do like that they set up that everybody who's going to be participating has a sword. Need the Muramasa blade.
So they like give you a rundown. Yeah, so like for anyone, kind of spoiler alert, it's not really a spoiler alert because there's so much information to read. But what this event is really setting up for is it's setting up for a big battle. Who knows what we'll get? Like, we may get like that, I think like Batman versus Superman, like something like that, where it's like your mom's name is Martha and that's how it ends, whatever. But I feel like it's really setting us up for,
Triggered.
I love, big fan of Jonathan Hickman here. So I'm really, yeah. What's that?
Apocalypse cries in the issue.
Yeah.
Honestly, this is the best Apocalypse has been in a long time. They really don't know what to do with him normally, and
Mhm.
Apocalypse finally has something to do and has like a character arc.
Yeah, and because,
And his wife is fucking badass.
oh, for real. And like, um, once again, it goes back to that east of west vibes where there's this big, um, I guess I would call it not cosmic event, but
Oh,
this
she's bound.
big, yeah. So it's to me like this is a different version in an alternate world, east of west, 100%. So I'm very curious how related that'll be. Who knows?
I'm full on. I'm putting 12 in X of Swords #1
Hmm.
into. I'm grouping them together for my review, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Solid 8 out of 10, like 100%. I don't think
Yeah.
I'm feeling 9 on it because it's a little flawed, but entertaining as all hell. Like
Yeah.
even like the way Summoner comes back out of the hole, writing whatever the fuck that was.
Yeah. This is going to be really interesting. I am really excited to read it all again and to just like dive into it. And I just want to say, since you commented a little bit back, hey Ruben, commenting in the chat. Puck says, great in this issue. Love seeing. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I got to read your wacky villain theory.
Yeah.
I got to go read that on Comic Con 101.
Mm-hmm.
Read John's Comics with Kids X-Men articles on there. I've been lacking because I'm trying to catch up with our show reading.
Yeah.
We'll get to it. Our show reading has gotten out of control between this, our book club tomorrow, and then the Dune over, where I have 64 pages to read by Monday night.
Yeah.
We're getting there.
I'm off tomorrow, so probably, I think there was one day where I was able to read it on Monday, but I think that's because I didn't go to work because of all the smoke. So I'm like, okay, like I can sit around and read it. But then last week I got off like at 5 o'clock, basically had 2 hours to like come home and then read it and set up. And that felt way too rushed. So I'm probably going to give my chance, like, I'm going to give myself all day to read those chapters.
The Dune. Though, going from the X-Men, X the Sword, Hickman reading, and then having read Decorum over the past couple months, going back to Black Monday Murders was very easy.
Okay, that's good. Because I feel like Decorum was... I don't even know... I feel bad because I feel like I'm giving it more of a chance than I gave Mercy. And I still don't know what's going on with Mercy. And thank fucking God Mercy is done next week because I'm done with Mercy. And someone's going to have to pay me to fucking reread all of those. Sorry.
You can blame Andrew for swinging the bowl.
Swinging the vote, yeah.
Yeah.
What
was your rating on X Sword?
I would give it probably that 8.5 out of 10. It's fantastically written. I can see that Jonathan Hickman is thinking around the corner, right? So like if we're walking down the road, like we may be reading ahead, but he knows what's around the corner. He knows what's coming, and he's got something set up to just like punch us in the fucking face. And I'm really excited about it. I think he's gonna do him and Tiny
Howard, I think.
Tiny Howard. Yeah. So I think that this is going to be really fun. I'm very curious how like all the swords will play out, and I'm really curious how like the tarot theme will fit into it, and if that's going to be a big part, or if it's just going to be like part of the title and be a nod to it, or if it'll be like big stuff.
So going on John's theory, I have a wacky villain theory from issue 1 too, and I don't know what his theory is, but like Saturnine seems like she's kind of playing her own hand.
Yeah.
Like possibly to take over everything. Could be wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know. Should we just treat that as a group review and then have okay, yeah.
Yeah. Because I feel like it would be, I don't know, because I was like, we're both going to read this. So.
Yeah. I guess go with your next pick.
Okay. So, one of the new ones that I just started, sorry, I got both covers, and Unkindness of Ravens. So.
I did that as well.
You did or you didn't?
I did.
Okay. It's funny because I feel like we were kind of talking about these like tropes in comic books, and I feel like this is where I saw this trope, and it's because I also read it in the autumnal, but we'll get to that too. But it's like someone moves to a new town, and like, so I definitely felt that, and it gave me, it's Millennial the Craft. That's what Unkindness of Ravens feels like.
And it's weird because Dan Panosian, I've not known him to write anything, so kind of an odd book to all of a sudden see.
It's like
very
it is, and it's very Mean Girls meets The Craft, because it feels like there's two groups that are fighting. It is a little bit more like twee than I liked. However, I think that at first glance, Sabrina, Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, may have felt a little bit twee to some people, which it was, but it totally wasn't. So I feel like I'm going to stick with this. When I went to my local shop, Books with Pictures, the owner was telling me that another customer went in and had never read comics before, like was maybe looking more for like trade paperbacks, but didn't read single issues, but saw the
That B cover is awesome.
oh, it is, but saw this cover and was like, those are some girls I want to hang out with, so I'm going to pick up this book. So um, I 100% agree. Like, I want to hang out with all these bitches. I hope they want to hang out with me. Who knows?
What's
But
up, you guy?
hey, new. So this was good. I feel, like I said, it wasn't as dark as I wanted it to be. It's I would say if there was going to be a group that you would buy this for, it's definitely going to speak to that like Generation Z. I don't know, Generation Z maybe.
See, like right away, like I know you'll ugh and roll your eyes at me, but for that kind of generation, you're talking about the disenfranchised, quote unquote. I would totally get Deadly Class for, even though it's set in the '80s. Like those characters, I think kind of.
I agree to that to some point, but I think that this this one will have people that they want to hang out with and that they feel like they would hang out with.
But weirdly,
But
I wouldn't want to hang out with any of them.
well, then maybe that's you. But I don't know. I see it for is I see it for a Generation Z, especially a young girl in Generation Z who's like, I don't know, who's watched The Craft and maybe like gets a lot of their wardrobe still from Hot Topic, even though I still buy a ton of shit from Hot Topic. But
So that they'll sit there and go, "Whatever happened to Feruza Balk?"
exactly, justice for fucking Feruza Balk, like The Craft, Waterboy.
And then the Island of Dr. Moreau, which
Yeah.
with that documentary.
Yeah. So anyways, I would probably give it like a 7 out of 10.
I'm probably like 5 or 6. Like it was okay. Like I wasn't in love with it, but I love that B cover, the one with because that was the one John posted. I was like, check that out.
Yeah.
It's amazing how a good cover can kind of drag you into something that you may not normally buy.
Yeah. But I enjoy it so much more than I enjoyed Mercy. That will forever be the biggest Rickroll of a.
I don't remember Almost Famous. I don't remember much of Almost Famous.
Yeah, neither do I. I remember watching that like 100 times on like when it came on TV, but I don't know. I feel like Feruza Balk was one of those actresses who like awakened something in me. I'm like, I like this vibe that's going on.
Oh, 100%. Like I had like a crush on her when that movie came out. I was like,
1,000%. It was her, Lucy Lawless's Xena. Okay, let's get back to comics before before WAP starts happening.
So a book I'm gonna have to tie 2 books together.
Okay.
So the last issue of Josh Williamson's Flash came out. They redid the numbering, but and then Death Metal Speed Metal came out. I know.
No, it's okay.
But Williamson wrote that as well. Williamson wrapped up what, in my opinion, is one of the best Flash runs since Jeff Johns. He put his own stamp on it, and he hadn't really been doing the superhero kind of normal fare because he'd been doing like Ghosted and Nailbiter, and then all of a sudden they give him Flash, and he kind of put his own stamp on the mythos. So I want to spend a moment just appreciating it and telling people, if you haven't read his Flash, like give it a try. It's from Rebirth on, and did quite a few issues. Speed Metal finally gives justice to Wally West, curing the Heroes in Crisis bullshit. Heroes in Crisis ruined Wally West. This um, kind of gave him his shine back.
Yeah. I didn't read Heroes in Crisis. I think I picked up like one because it had an interesting Harley cover. Um, but man, like people fucking hate that. Whatever was going on with Flash and Wally West.
I did an hour and a half with Nat on Heroes in Crisis, just jamming the fuck out of it. And then John's Comics with Kids set her up on a judge and jury thing, and she got her ass beat on live stream on it because John
Yikes.
defended it.
New guy, I want to say thank you. You're the real MVP. You need to join us on Monday.
Yeah,
Come and hang out in the chat with us.
it's a lot to digest, so leave some notes for yourself for what you might want to discuss with us.
Yeah. I'm like looking around for my copy. Got it right here. So convenient. I took a note from Sydney and did like little sticky notes. They're little like tab sticky notes for the interesting things that I found. So
I'm actually using my notepad and my iPad and then jotting, typing as I go. Okay, so she's one of the band-aids that follow the bandit. Okay.
I may have to put that. I may put it on in the background as I'm like finishing up this week's reading. But
I have not watched that movie since it came out, and I remember barely anything from it, like at all. Thank you, Rod. I never do that. To hit like and subscribe. You're a better show host than I am. I get so deep into the books. So Speed Metal was interesting. It's basically the Batman who laughs in his final evolved god form, since he took his brain and put in Dr. Manhattan's body, or Dr. Bathattan, because it was Bruce Wayne. There's a lot of stupid that goes on in it, but like by the time it ends, like Wally got his moment back that I thought they took away from him in Heroes in Crisis. And I can't even like spend enough time on how much I fucking hate Heroes in Crisis. Like as much as I hate the Batman run by Tom King, like literally that is on a pedestal compared to this dumpster fire.
Whew.
Like literally it is possibly one of the worst things I've ever fucking read.
Yikes.
And I kept hate reading it because I was like, I have to see how much worse he fucked everything.
You're like, I have to see if like it plays out. I have to see if like I get a return on investment. But I feel like if they're doing all of these, death metal, speed metal, like, am I going to get my like folk metal? Am I going to get like doom metal? And am I going to get black metal? Like, come on, DC.
Greg Capullo's like, I'm running out of metals.
Oh no, you're not, because there's like hundreds of them. Greg Capullo, call me. We'll talk about metal. We won't talk about working out because I'm not one of those workout people. But we'll talk about metal. We'll talk about that. So
yeah. So you're wait, sorry. I will give, I think 7 out of 10.
Okay.
Just the payoff at the end was.
My next one that I have for this week, I know like we kind of talked about it a little bit, but The Autumnal, published by Vault Comics. I got both covers because I don't even know which cover is which, like which one's the A cover and which one's the B cover. But I really liked this cover and thought it was really pretty. I thought this one used a lot of different tropes, but in a really fun way, because basically like the mom comes into school to pick up her daughter because her daughter punched someone or did something, called someone something like, yeah. And then she comes in and she's like, oh, my daughter did something. And she takes off her sunglasses and she's got a black eye. So, she's a piece of shit, but she's actually a really good mom. Like, don't judge her. She's actually a really good mom. And she finds out her mom dies hey, she finds out that her mom dies, so they have to move to a town, and
trope.
yeah, it. I don't know like exactly what it feels like, but you know, we did talk about this for like a second on how there's this weird. I don't know if it's just been a lot of issues recently where this happens.
Stillwater had the same premise somewhat.
Yeah.
Lovecraft Country has that premise somewhat. I mean, totally different, but the whole trope is there of. So yeah, there's a lot of books doing that. I mean, it's a trope that's a long trope, but I'm noticing it more lately.
You know, it's something that in order for an author to set up world building, I apologize. In order for an author to set up like world building, one of the better ways to do that is to introduce like your main character or protagonist into a world they're unfamiliar with. So you as the reader are finding out about it as this at the same time as the main protagonist. So then not only are you learning the world building, you're also like linked with the protagonist because you're like, oh, they're learning the same thing as I am at the same time. Kind of like I think about Harry Potter a lot, even though I fucking hate J.K. Rowling. She's a turf and she's trash and she can go fuck off to the void. However, in Harry Potter, you think about him as a character going into the magical world, not knowing anything about it. And so the world building is going on at the same time as him learning all of these like new things. And so I think that it's an interesting way to do world building. It's just so weird that I've read like 3 or 4 comics where it's the same exact fucking premise.
It's weird also that Harry Potter starts with a magical home invasion.
Indeed. But there's so much more. Yeah.
He's going to become Batman. The only thing missing was like his mother Lily's pearls hitting the ground. Magic pearls. Oh,
yeah,
the eye roll that launched a million ships.
Yes. So anyways, I did enjoy. So let me go ahead and preface or not preface, but
last page redeemed the whole book for me.
The last page?
Yes.
Yeah.
Often.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I think that this one is giving me vibes of The Plot, which is also by Vault, maybe a little bit less dark and grim. But all y'all. So anyways, I do think that this is going to be a fun series. I'm curious to see what happens next. When Vault published The Plot, they only did 4 issues for the first volume, so I'm curious if they're going to do the same thing for this or if it's going to be like a 5 or 6 issue run. But man, I've been really digging a lot of stuff by Vault.
There was a book by Vault that came out this week or maybe last week, I might just caught up to it, that I really did not like.
Which one was that?
Heavy.
Yeah, I read that one last week, and it was all right, but I feel like it was like John Wick meets The Good Place, and maybe it's because I read it on the same week that I read Stillwater, and I was just like meh about Stillwater, so I was okay with Heavy, but I liked The Autumnal better than I liked Heavy.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. So I'm probably going to give this one 7.5, 7 3/4 out of 10, because I think it's going to be a really interesting book with, like you said, where it leaves off on the last page and then sets you up. Because, like I said, it does that like trope of like the kid's bad and the mom's trying to take care of her, and oh, are you Mrs. So and so? Oh, just because I have a kid doesn't mean I'm married. So like I don't know, it was kind of cute, but we'll see.
By Vault.
Giga by Vault is awesome. I haven't heard of that one. But Vault, like, it's funny because I've read a lot of their titles that they've come out within the last, like, 2 years. And I was completely unaware that, like, there is so much more than what they've done in the last 2 to 3 years. There's actually a ton of books. So they're I've been liking their stuff sometimes almost as much as I like, or more, the stuff that Image is putting out.
Okay, Giga hasn't come out. Okay.
New guy said Heavy and Stillwater. Like, I went into my shop this Wednesday, Thursday, because I went in both days. But one of the people who work there, Nick, was like, I heard you didn't like Stillwater. Why didn't you like it? And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck Chip Zdarsky was trying to tell, but it's like a dude gets fired from his job because he like punched someone or pushed someone, and then he goes to a bar and he punches someone, and then he goes into a town and he starts punching people. And I'm like, that's literally what I got out of the story. Whether Chip Zdarsky wanted to do more about it, that was what I got out of the story, was just a dude who punches people and he ends up in a town because of an inheritance, and he's in a town where no one can die. I don't know. Undertones of yes, but I don't know if it was, I would say, I don't know if it's polyamory or if it's just straight up cheating, which is much different. Yeah, if it is a story about polyamory, I would love to see that done well, because me personally, I don't think that is done very well at all. So we'll see. I might go ahead and pick up the next issue of Heavy. I might go ahead and pick up the next issue of Stillwater. But I'll definitely be picking up the next issue of The Autumnal. So
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check out issue 2. It was just interesting enough that hooked me back in to check out more of it. Another book that came out that kind of hit me in the gut with how heavy it fucking got. Bliss issue 3. Ooh, boy. Ooh.
this book is not fun.
It's interesting, but no, like it is 100%. It's so heavy. In particular, when they tell the protagonist's father to go kill his mother because she's getting in the way of the job, and he's got like the stuff running down his eyes, and he's carrying the gun going to the grandparents' house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Um, this series, and seriously, like the art, I absolutely love Caitlin Yarsky's art. They work together on a comic, Coyotes, and I don't know, maybe it's just the scene where he walks up to the house. This one right here, like he's going. But it reminded me of Farmhand by Rob Guillory. I don't know like how that's pronounced, but man,
I think it's Hillary.
Guillory, yeah. Bliss is not a fun book. I don't know, you took a bite out of. Okay, really quick. I did 8 miles walking to like round trip to get some Blue Star donuts. And they, Voodoo Donuts gets a lot of love out here in Portland, but Blue Star is a little bit superior. They're a little bit fancier. And this one was like, was it chocolate bergamot or something like that? And then they also have stuff like blueberry lavender. Oh, these are so good. So 8 miles round trip. And I got some tamales today too. So
You've been eating a lot of.
I did. Let me think. Wednesday I got tacos. Thursday I got tacos. Yesterday I just ate some like chicken and poppers. I just had like shit in the freezer. And then today I had tamales and donuts. So I like to live my best life, even though it's a horror shit show sometimes.
So yeah, back to I'm gonna give it 8 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's one of those ones that it does not make you feel good.
No.
It kind of leaves you feeling dirty.
I'm hoping that like at the culmination of this, I'm curious if there's going to be like how many issues it's going to be, if it's going to be like 1 volume, if it's going to end up being like 2 or more. But I really hope that I know that there's a redeeming quality to it, because it's so fucked up, and it's just not fun. But it's a very good read and it's very emotional. So I don't know.
I know what's wrong with this. You're not chugging a Truly.
I'm not. I actually, I haven't had a lot of
Not good with
caffeine.
donuts.
Yeah, well, I have tea. Uh, so I'm drinking that. I was either gonna do an energy drink or do a Truly, but I'm probably gonna save the Truly for later. But right now it's tea.
Okay, so Bliss was mine. Now on to you.
Alrighty. For some reason, because like whenever we like end up reading the same titles, I'm like, wait, was that mine? Was that yours? So what was your rating of Bliss out of
Eight,
10?
8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. Okay. Let me see here.
It was a very dank issue. Like it was dark, but it uncovered more, and then like that creature just drops. Oh, by the way, your dad killed a god.
Yeah.
Like, wait, what the fuck did you just say?
Yeah. Alrighty, so this one is I have like another like part of my stack, but I haven't finished reading all of them. However, this one's from last week. I ended up picking up Seven Secrets because you recommended that it was better than the first one, and this one's gonna go into the dumpster fire pile because I still didn't. Um, I'm not. I'm not getting it.
To quote Sid, your opinion is valid.
It is. I just didn't. I don't know. The only like thing I do love the artwork. I think that the artwork is
See, I
phenomenal.
don't like the artwork.
What's that?
I didn't
Oh,
like the artwork.
um, it definitely has like an There's some scenes like there's especially this fighting scene that happens like halfway through the book that definitely reminds me of like anime. So I could see this art being thank you, Rod. So I do like that, but there's some scenes in it like I don't know. This is the first panel or first page, but the artwork reminded me of Dan Mora on Once in Future.
100% good call, Dylan. Good call, because the Deadpool run that Gail Simone did, Udon was doing the artwork. 100%. Excellent call on that.
I'll have to check
Also,
that out.
Gail Simone wrote one of my favorite Taskmasters.
Mm.
Very forgotten run on Deadpool. Like, she had a great run.
I remember hearing something about what was it that she was in line or something at a convention, and or maybe it was just someone got into a fight with her on Twitter about like Deadpool being pansexual, and they're like,
Rob Life.
um, yeah, and it's like who who wrote Deadpool? Oh, she did. Her name's on the book. I don't think it was Rob Liefeld. I think it was just some other nameless dummy on Twitter.
Well, it's weird because Deadpool was kind of bland when Rob created him with Macenta, and then Joe Casey and all these other writers turned him into Daffy Duck.
Yeah.
And it's so weird that, like, where, yes, Rob created the character design and the character, but these other writers turned him into what he is.
Yeah.
But, yeah, just go ahead and just keep it. And Jeff Loeb also did a couple of runs. I fell in the same dumpster fire.
Yeah. Yes. Pretty much. Man, he just like was he the one?
He's too busy ripping off Frank Miller's ninja stories for the Snake Eyes, whatever, Dead Blood, whatever the fuck it's called. I don't even remember. Dead Game, yes.
Yeah.
Which it takes 2 months to do an issue, apparently.
So that Seven Secrets was I'm probably gonna give it like maybe a 3 or 4, which is pretty low for me.
See, I thought them having Casper finally be a character, I thought made it better.
I don't know. I just maybe it's because that when I read the first issue, I just didn't love it at all. It felt just blah to me. Didn't like the second one.
It could be. I thought the second was an improvement, but it is what it is.
Yeah. What's your next one?
Immortal She-Hulk.
You know, I literally took like 20 steps outside of the shop and was like, fuck, I forgot to get that one. And I'm like, okay, I hope that they have more when I go back. So I'm really hoping that there's more.
Basically,
Tell me all about it.
it was basically going into her mindset because she's died 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a certain point where she and Wolverine go to a bar, and she's like, "How do you do it? How do you die and keep coming back and like be okay?" And then it goes into like what it's like when she goes to the other side. Because in the Immortal Hulk, there's this whole green door thing, and the Hulk's father, Brian Banner, is there as kind of a demonic like gatekeeper, and she sees him as well. She's like, "Uncle Brian, you killed your wife. You abused your son and made him the monster he is." And he's there, and then the leader was there at the end. But it's interesting because she has a talk with Thor, and he's like, "Oh, I killed an immortal. So even though you're immortal, you're not really. Your time will come up."
Mm.
So it was just interesting and kind of going over her whole history and then tying it finally to Immortal Hulk, which Immortal Hulk weirdly is a horror title. They turned it into a horror title, the Hulk, which it fits perfectly. Al Ewing
Mm.
has done a great job with that. I did not think he did a great job with Empire, but that's opinion.
Yeah.
I'm 6.5 to 7 on this one.
Okay. I still may try to like see it because
Great intro to
um
Immortal Hulk, though. Like it felt like it was like, hey, if you like this character, why don't you check out this title?
do you think that it will get its, because a lot of time, or especially whenever in the last couple years when it's like, okay, Laura Kinney is now Wolverine, Jane Foster is now Thor, with all of those titles, there was a lot of backlash. Do you think that this will get the same backlash that that did? Like, the gatekeepers are going to be like, we can't have female characters that were primarily men. Do you think
No,
it's going to get that?
no, because I mean, Immortal Hulk. I feel like this is all leading into a big storyline that's going to cross a bunch of titles.
Okay.
At least that's what it feels like. Maybe it's just going to be Hulk titles. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
Um, the way it's building up into something big. I just don't know.
Got
Um,
it.
honestly, like I don't feel. Where I always feel the like backlash happens is when you just introduce a character and it doesn't happen organically.
Yeah.
Although with Falcon becoming Captain America, even though it happened organically and it built up, that I think was just people after Secret Empire.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but like Miles Morales is probably the best, and as well X-23 Lord King
Yeah.
are probably the best organic uses of moving someone. I would even say Kamala Khan, even though there was a little bit of backlash,
Mm-hmm.
it the way she was introduced, and I mean, she's just such a fucking lovable character.
Oh, for sure. And I think that like you nailed the description. Like, she's a very lovable character. I feel like that's a character that even people who are like very dude bro-ish still really like Kamala Khan. So I like Kamala Khan as well. So I'm glad that she gets a little bit more love than some of the other characters.
I love her in the PS4 game. Like
Mm.
she, the voice actress and the way they portrayed her. And you're next.
That was pretty much it for everything that I've read this week. I still have a little bit of a stacky stack right here that I need to go
I'm
through.
behind on
Um,
reading by like 2 issues.
yeah. So I'll just show the things that I picked up. So I did get Wind #4. I've really been liking this because it's a cute like young adult fantasy title. Even though I feel like we get a lot of young adult fantasy titles, I just think this one is kind of
Like
adorable.
a DreamWorks animated movie.
Yeah, exactly. Um, this one ended up in my pile. I'm saving it for the dumpster fire. You know what? What I might do is
Op-
just take all of the shitty comics from 2020 and just like do a dumpster fire pile at the end of the year. So anyways, this is going in it. I might flip through it, but I didn't love this title. Um, I also picked up Finger Guns #4 because when I went to go read #5 a couple weeks ago, I realized I didn't have 4. So I needed this. to read it. And then, oh, you know what? I did read this one. Engine Ward has been a kind of fun title. It's been a lot. It's a like pretty heavy sci-fi title, but throw 2020 in that dumpster fire. Yeah, I'm just gonna try to appease the 2020 gods with a big old dumpster fire at the end of the year, and just cleanse myself. Sorry, my cat just made like a meow without. My cat's doing weird things right now. He's such a weirdo. So, anyways, I did read this. I really enjoy it. It felt a lot heavier sci-fi, but now it's like a little bit more, I don't know, low key sci-fi, maybe a little bit more fantasy elements in it. So, Engine Ward, published by Vault. I really like it. And then I'm sure you're going to talk about this title.
It is on my list, but if you haven't read it, I will be very, very vague.
I haven't read it at all, so be vague.
Okay. Is that it for your pile?
That's it for my pile. So
I will go. A book that came out and pre-pandemic and then fucking disappeared and just reappeared randomly. Skull Digger and Skeleton Boy. Issue 4 came out from the Black Hammer universe. It's a spin-off.
Yeah.
I really enjoy it. It's basically this vigilante takes on a young boy as his kind of understudy ward. He becomes Skeleton Boy. It's a very dark-lived book, but I really enjoy it. I love the Black Hammer universe.
Yeah.
This plays on there's repercussions for your actions. Cops are chasing him. There's a whole bunch of like little sub storylines going on. I forgot what happened because it's been so long since it last came out. I'd say March was the last time I saw it.
Yeah, possibly. I was gonna say that sounds accurate.
But yeah, so it's been months. So it finally came back out. I liked it enough. I'm 7 out of 10. It's solid. Like the whole book has been solid. It's just so long. So onto what we just discussed before. Black Magic issue
14.
I will leave it at a lot of stuff happens.
Okay.
There's a creepy fucking demon child at the beginning.
Okay.
With her mouth sewn shut.
Okay.
And there's some hot lesbian action continuing from the last.
Hell yeah.
HLA. Okay.
Which like Greg Rucka, whatever.
Yeah.
Loves to write. I mean, I feel like maybe not like the hot lesbian like male scissor fantasy that they think happens, but I don't know. That's kind of cool because most of his like lesbian characters are going to be more mainstream. Batwoman, detective. Oh my goodness. But you don't really get to see like a scene.
Yeah. I haven't read Daredevil and Venom. I have them in my pile. I didn't get to them, and this is gonna freak Jen out, but Low came out and I haven't even read it yet.
Doesn't surprise me because it's not a good title. Is this the last issue or is it like
there's like 1 or 2 more issues, right?
Okay.
100% Rucka either has someone in his life that is queer, or it's either a family member, somebody he has someone he talks to about these issues and gets feedback on. Either that, or he's just very in touch with what's going on. I don't know. Like he has this touch with writing, very sensible and not like, as you call it, the scissoring fantasy.
Yeah.
I did not get to read Last God yet. It is in my pile, which is weird because that's usually top of my pile as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of wanted to vary up because I always talk about Last God. I always talk about Low. That wasn't why I didn't read Low, because the last issue kind of really pissed me off.
Oh, it took 43 issues?
Not that many issues.
It's not? I thought it was. Maybe it's 20 something then.
Yes, it's in the 20. 25.
Okay. I feel like this week, other than Bliss, well, I guess Bliss and Black Magic, I feel like this week was a pretty light Image week for me. Like when I think about
I've still got Monstrous and Moonshine to read. Like I haven't read yet. Like I'm behind. I still haven't read Plunge number 6.
Oh wow, that surprises me. There was the trade for that is coming out, or like the collected edition is coming out in October, right? Like the first or second week of October, maybe end
Something
of,
like that, yeah.
or maybe in November. I was taking a look at all of those titles because I feel like a lot of those titles from the Hill House came out at like started at the beginning of the pandemic, or kind of like we're wrapping up or mid arc. And then now all of the trades are coming out, and I'm going to catch up on most of those in the trades.
I'm really keyed up for next week because Philadelphia number 8 comes out with a beautiful Bill Sienkiewicz cover.
And it looks like we're getting a reveal. From what I saw on Rodney Barnes' Twitter, it looks like there's going to be a pretty big character introduced, and I really hope that we get a resolution to whatever was going on with the Elysium story title. And please, for the love of God, tell me that it's Angela, MF, and Davis shows up. I will literally, all of you on the East Coast will be able to hear me scream if Angela Davis shows up in Philadelphia. I assure you.
We get Ascender next week, or this coming week. Department of Truth number 1 with a beautiful Jenny Friesen cover.
I saw that there's like what 20, well maybe not 20, maybe like 15 covers of Department of Truth, and I really hope that I'm not gonna, you know what, I'm gonna coin this phrase here. You heard it here on LongBox Paradox first. I really don't want to get Cat Salazar, because I know I talk about it all the time. I was given so many beautiful covers of Mercy, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be a great title, and it was shoved down my throat. And then Mercy came out, and Decorum came out, and then Philadelphia was like under the rug, and it was clearly the superior title. And Mercy is just, everyone's going crazy over these Mercy covers, and I keep hearing about it from Kat Salazar's emails, and I have a feeling that I'm just going to get overhyped on this, and it's not going to be fun.
So I am going to buy Mercy this week. 1, because we lost the poll.
Yeah.
2, because there's a beautiful Jen Bartel C cover.
Yeah.
The new Monstrous trade comes out.
That I'm excited, because I got the single issues for Monstrous, but then moving whatever didn't keep up, so I've been reading it by trade. So that'll be.
The Olympia trade comes out. Sea of Stars number 7. Spawn 310. Tartarus Volume 1, which I didn't really love Tartarus.
Oh, I love Tartarus. I cannot wait to read that all in one, because I think reading it monthly is a little bit hard, but I think reading it all at once is going to be, I think it's going to be superior reading it that way.
Nailbiter Returns number 5.
Sorry, I've got to like scream this from the fucking rooftops. Wonder Woman 1984, that fucking Rooster Teeth cover comes out this upcoming week.
I thought you were about to say it got pushed back again, and so did fucking Dune.
No, sorry. I want to drink in the collective, like gatekeeper tears, from all of the trash that they've been talking about this fucking cover, and I can't wait to buy like 10 copies of it if I can, because I think it's a phenomenal cover, and I actually really want to read Wonder Woman 1984 because of this beautiful cover. Just had to say it. Sorry.
I mean, the cover wasn't that bad. I've seen worse. I've seen way worse.
I think what it is.
Variant. Don't buy it.
Yeah. I love Tartarus. I'm still going to read it again.
And I know this book we got an advanced reader copy of Commanders in Crisis, and
Mhm.
final cutoff is this week. I was Steve Orlando was nice enough that he basically put it out to anybody who wanted to read, as long as they talked about it, the advanced reader copy, and we both read it. So I hear a lot of people complaining that they want diversity, they want representation. This book goes way out of its way for diversity and
Mhm.
representation.
Yeah.
So
And
the challenge is on you guys because your wallet will speak.
mhm.
So
and
if
s-
yeah, go.
I think Steve Orlando has done a really good job because he did oh my goodness. I'm trying to think of the character.
Schneider?
Shit. What Midnighter?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I really enjoyed Midnighter. I did read the first issue of Commanders in Crisis. I think that um
It's incredibly busy.
it's very busy. I think it's a very interesting setup though, so I'm very curious to see like how it plays out. I'll even though I've already read the digital version of it, advanced, I'm still gonna 100% buy the first issue because it was fun, and I think it's setting up for um, I would almost even say like I don't know if this is going to be too spoilerish, but maybe like The Boys, but if it was like presidents.
I can see that a little bit. Um, he the passion he's put into it and promoting it online, because I mean he must realize that he has to promote it because like Cat Salazar hasn't posted anything about it
Oh,
yet.
and see, that's going to be the thing is because we're getting oversaturated with Department of Truth, and we're going to see, I think, speculators go ahead and pick up number one because I'm sure that this one's going to get a second, third, fourth printing on the first one. But I think that
And
there's
final
going to
order
be,
cutoffs this week. I haven't
yeah.
seen Image tweet jack shit about it.
hmm Um, it also looks like um, there's a title that I'm really surprised. I don't know if you picked up number one, but the Lock and Key.
Yes,
Um,
that comes out this
that
week.
comes out, and I did not like the first volume of Lock and Key a lot. I'm trying to say that very nicely. It didn't really resonate with me. However, I did read the new one and I loved the artwork so much more. So this reading this new like series for Lock and Key actually makes me want to go back and read the like second, third, fourth volumes of Lock and
That's
Key.
the thing. The first one was all the trauma
Mm-hmm.
and just very morose. And then volume 2 and on, the wonder of the universe starts kind of opening
Got
up.
it.
What you have to go through the family trauma at the beginning, which
Got
again,
it.
is always a Rector episode. She's
Yeah.
a disaster. She's not.
And it actually makes me really excited for the Sandman crossover. So I know when I initially heard about that Sandman crossover with Lock and Key by that artist, I'm like, ew, I want to vomit. I don't touch Sandman. And then now after reading this and looking at the artwork, I'm like, okay, give it to me. I'm here for it.
It's still on Comixology Unlimited free.
Which one, Lock and Key? Okay.
If you're still using Comixology Unlimited.
I totally am. And here's the thing is that anytime I'm like, oh, like the month that I read all of my physical copies of books, I still kept it, even though I don't think I read but like one thing on maybe I did like two or three digital books on there. But I still have that. I still pay for Marvel U. And in case anyone didn't see my little big book haul, I still have all of these that I need to read and get through. So,
Lady Killer, I saw.
what's that?
That Lady Killer on the bottom, I think.
It is. It's volume two. I've read volume two of Lady Killer, but it was borrowed from someone. So
It's
then,
so weird that literally where it's placed at, the story set at, it's where
mhm.
Gambit shop is.
It's what?
It's where Gambit's tattoo studio is,
Oh,
Cocoa Beach, and that's like 10 minutes from me.
that's crazy.
Yeah, like when I first saw the sign, I was like, "Wait, what?" Did you end up getting Hench Girl?
Um,
I didn't see your video.
I did. I was gonna say, if you saw my video, you would know. But yeah, I did.
I love that. I love it. It's so cute and fun.
It looks really fun. It looks like it's gonna be one of those. I refer to them as like the palate cleanser. Because whenever I read like serious stuff, this just looks like it's gonna be a little bit more fun.
It's
Um,
incredibly fun.
yeah,
Like it yeah, definitely a palate cleanser. You'll read it and go, this is adorable.
yeah. I need a lot more. I feel like I need the envelope to be pushed a little bit more sometimes.
She's like Evil
Um,
Schmidt.
okay, that sounds adorable because I fucking love Kimmy Schmidt. Okay,
So sorry, back to Commanders in Crisis. So
yeah.
you're looking for something that will represent and be diverse. And I'm sorry, there are a lot of people I see who will go online getting on their pulpit, but they won't spend the money.
Hmm.
But they will, to the end of the earth, go on Twitter and complain about it.
Yeah.
This is a book you have to keep with your wallet because Steve Orlando is not with DC anymore. He doesn't have that financial, cushion, so to say, where DC will let a book selling whatever under a couple of thousand keep going. No. Um, for him to make money on this book, you have to pre-order. You have to buy single issues. So the way Image is structured, trade, Image gets the lion's share of that money. Single issues, creator gets the lion's share. That's why they always put extra stuff. Like Drew Baker will always in his issues put bonus stuff to kind of get people who want to buy the single issue, and they're not in the trades. So that was me on my pulpit. I will be buying it.
Yes.
Steve Orlando has agreed to come on the show whenever
Woo.
the schedule worked out that it's not on his day off that he spends with his partner. So it'll probably be after the issue comes out, more than likely.
Hmm.
But like, he's such a nice guy. Like, he's just like, oh yeah, email me. Like, here's my personal email. Like, let's work it out.
I just have to. Sorry, we got a special guest in the comments, and I haven't seen this person in a while.
I don't see the.
You don't see the comments?
Which one are you talking about? Oh, now it just showed up. Okay, it's running late on.
I'm watching it like on like I've got the YouTube app. So I want to say hi to Sanimation.
It's
Thank you
animation.
for being here, and thank you for calling out the CD-ROMs because Dan has been being mean to me about my hatred for fucking Batman origin story with the pearl necklace
No, I hate it
ripping off.
too. I
Yeah.
hate it too. I just.
But it's triggering for me. But I know that CD-ROMs, whatever. So thank you, Sanimation, for being here. I
Also,
miss you.
congrats on your YouTube channel now that you have your Cinemasian and everything else going
Yes.
on. I just wanted anybody who, if you love Asian cinema, go check out Cinemation channel with
Stay Puff, right?
no, it's heroic or God, I can't remember his name. Something Joe, heroic Joe.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, I'm not meaning to murder. I see it all the time, and I've been bad about this stuff. Also, frequent guest, well, not guest, but commenter, Varangian Vigilante. His channel, he's got his action movies with Stay Puff, and he's also, I think, got Jim Valent coming on with his wife. He was promoting that the other day, and I needed to go check that out. I was kind of proud of him for getting that going. Malicious Hero Joe, thank you.
Yep.
But yes, if you love Asian cinema, go check it out. I have been really bad about getting on there. I will at some point when I have time. This Dune show is kind of like taking up every bit of my extra time. We miss you, Sanimation. And I mean that genuinely, not like, yeah, I miss you fucking calling me out for stupid shit. And also, Sanimation, since, oh no, well, I don't know if you'll be awake or not, but we're doing Black Monday Murders tomorrow for book club. So I remember you said that you bought it. So if you
want to hop on, come and join us.
But we do miss you. I actually was thinking the other day, I was like, man, I haven't seen her or Vigilante on a while, but you guys
Mm-hmm.
have your own channel stuff going. I know
Yeah.
how that suck up every moment of your time if you allow
Yeah.
it to, which is why Jen and I had to take a week off.
Boy, howdy. And
Only
that it's
to keep adding shows.
Yeah, I know, right? It's funny because I was like, okay, that Saturday I'll have the day off. Like I can go out and enjoy the world instead of just the world of the internet. And that's whenever the West Coast was on fire. The air quality was like 400, and I think it was 6 days where I didn't leave my house, other than like maybe walking out the apartment hall. I couldn't even like open up the doors or windows. So
Um, yeah, texting. Movie wise, still no theaters really open by me, so I haven't really
mm,
seen anything.
yeah.
Shutter basically has been it. I did watch this movie, Babysitter. Samara Weaving from Ready or Not's in it.
Hmm.
It's fucking bananas. I loved it.
Okay.
It was
And it's
insane.
on Shutter.
It was on Shut. It was on Shutter a while back. I watched it on another streaming service. But there's a sequel to it that came out. Killer Queen, Babysitter 2. Like, it's just okay, new guy. You must be in Florida. You're saying you get hurricanes. Florida or Texas at this point. I'm playing the
Yeah.
guessing game. Like Florida or Germany. What
Yeah.
shit happened?
Yeah.
Um,
That's why I had to leave Florida. Like, I feel like there's here in the Pacific Northwest now, there's always this like looming, like the big earthquake may come at any moment. We don't know, and it'll be fucking devastating. And then you've got like Mount St. Helens up the road, but that's not like a biggie. But I'm like, I'd much rather deal with that than deal with like half the year of being like, okay, hurricane. Okay, Houston, yeah. So
okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Oh, you also get, I think, was it tornadoes every now and again? Or is that
yeah,
mostly?
tornadoes, and on par with like Florida in COVID numbers too.
Yeah, it
Um,
is.
I describe Florida. It feels like you live inside someone's mouth. It's humid. It's dank. Or dank, is that maybe? I don't know. It's nasty.
You'll go out to check your mail, and you'll be moist from going
Hmm.
there. Like,
Yeah,
it's crazy.
like sweat down your entire back just from like walking out. It's horrible.
Florida's got you beat, bro. Florida's got you beat.
Especially like South Florida where I was in Naples, like it's bougie and there's a whole bunch of like old people and humidity. Ugh.
Yeah.
But now I'm up here, so
Yeah. My house is immaculate after panic cleaning for 12 hours the other night.
oh, I bet. And then I saw someone was in Seattle and then I'm like, I need a panic clean, and I'm now trying to get someone to come to Portland and come see me because it's only a 3-hour drive. But we'll see.
Yeah, you also said that you're gonna keep that. I was like, I'll fucking end you.
If Sid wants to stay here, she can. We've got donuts. I mean, they have incredible. We've got incredible donuts there in Seattle too. So
But are they vegan?
yeah, I mean, this one isn't, but a lot of the ones they have are vegan. Dude, it's like a vegan. I don't eat vegan whatsoever. Um, but man, so many vegan options. It's so good.
One day we'll start the Dune over. Like, hey, I have a guest here, and be like, log off.
Yeah.
Sweat between the crack is never a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
I work outside half the night, so it's even worse. Like out on a forklift.
Sanimation is talking about a 3-hour drive for Europeans. That's another country. It's funny because growing up in South Florida, you literally have to drive 5 hours to get out of the state. It's a 5-hour drive to get to Georgia. Even longer if you end up going up and then over to the Panhandle. It's literally like if you went from like Miami to Pensacola, it would end up being like at least 7 hours.
Well, like Texas is the size of like a large chunk of Europe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then when I drove across Texas, when I drove across country to come out here to Portland the first time when I was just visiting, we stopped on shit. I forget the town that we stopped at, but it was basically like right on the border. And then we drove all day, 12 hours to get to El Paso, Texas, and it was literally like I-10 along the entire. Like it took 12 hours to get across the state of Texas.
Yeah,
Never again. Never again.
and it's boring.
Oh, I feel like the eastern part is more of that like swampy forest, but then you get past San Antonio, west of San Antonio, and it's all like beautiful mountain ranges, and it's beautiful, but it's nothing and it's vast, but it's beautiful.
Um, yeah, like it's weird though because once you get out of Florida, like you can go through Georgia, South
Yeah.
Carolina real fast.
Yeah, because let me think. Georgia is what, like a maybe 3.5 hour drive to get to South Carolina, depending on where you are on what side of
Yeah.
the state. And then South Carolina, once again, depending on where you are, you can be in 3 hours. You can be in 3 or 4 different states because you can be in like North Carolina or Tennessee. But who the fuck wants to go there? No one. Don't ever go to South Carolina unless you're going to a really cool comic shop called Tangled Web in South Carolina. They're the best. And maybe if you're going to Heroes Con in Charlotte, that's it.
I have an ex that lives in Hilton Head.
Okay.
Very bougie.
Yeah. But it's like South Carolina bougie, which is like poor person in Florida bougie. Because like I lived in Naples, which is like bougie Florida. And that's a whole nother level. But
Um, so if anybody has a horror movie you'd like us to discuss next month, hit us up in the comments or on our Instagram because we've got one I think worked out for when our guest for 100th episode comes on, um, which I'm kind of excited to talk about. It's one of my favorite movies, and you aren't very fresh on that one, so
no.
it'll be interesting to take on it. So let us know. Otherwise, it might be just something we pick off Shutter or that's on AMC's Fear Fest. Whichever. I'm not sure. I definitely want to do a movie that we haven't done or that I haven't done before Jen joined.
Yeah, I would like to do something that I haven't watched or I'm unfamiliar with. Um, Like I think it'd be fun to do like a newer horror movie as opposed to like a classic. But
Yeah.
like I wouldn't mind doing something like I said, I wouldn't mind doing something in the vein of like Get Out or Us. Like I feel like this new genre of like horror through this like
Candyman were coming out. We could have done that,
oh,
but that's not.
I mean maybe I don't know, maybe I don't know if I'd want to rewatch the old one. You know what's so funny is that
Or
I was watching Star Trek Deep Space Nine the other night, and there's an episode with like Tony Todd, and it was so weird watching it.
I did watch The Invisible Man recently.
Oh, is that good?
Interesting.
Okay. Hey, are you watching Lovecraft Country? You said that you are, right?
I didn't watch the last episode.
Okay. The last episode was pretty good. I'm excited for this week, but I love. Are you watching Raised by Wolves?
No.
Okay. So here's the thing about Raised by Wolves. It's good, but I feel like every time I watch an episode, I'm like, did I really enjoy it? Or am I just convincing myself that I really enjoyed it?
Did you ever watch the sequel to The Strangers? Right?
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
I actually thought it was better than the original Strangers.
Okay.
We'll figure out because it's the start of October next week. Yeah.
Next Thursday. Or
Yeah.
next Friday. Yeah, next Thursday. Yeah.
Yeah, because my friend's wedding's the 2nd, and that's Friday, and I'm not going.
Oh, well.
For reason.
Yeah.
So excited for October and spooky season to officially begin. We have Philadelphia #8, which I'm sure we're going to talk about.
We'll have what number? Oh, Philadelphia. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yes. And who knows, maybe we'll get Rodney on once this arc ends. I'd love to get him and Jason Sean Alexander on at the same time so I can just listen to them bicker like a married couple.
Oh, 100%. I'll make sure to have actual popcorn this time.
I don't need Andrew on. I think we should just be you and I this time with him on.
Yeah.
I don't think I can do 2 hours again.
No.
And it could have gone 3 easily. And like always, thank you to everybody in the chat. Sanimation, thank you for
Thank
stopping by.
you.
Good guy. Join us Monday.
Oh, hi,
June.
Carlito.
Oh,
Carlito, you're gonna have to message one of us all of these suggestions. Netflix, not Shutter. Okay, cool.
I don't see his stuff popping up.
Oh, I have the yeah.
Yeah, I got too many other things open. John's Comics with Kids. Check him out every Saturday. Check out his Comic Tom 101 article on all things X. Oh, I heard Blackcoat's Daughter was good.
Okay, maybe that one could be something that we watch.
Yeah, I'd heard that was actually really good. Oh yeah, and hi Carlito. Yeah, thank you for stopping in and dropping that. Dillbot, thank you also for stopping by.
And Rod stopping by.
Also, oh, where is he? He's in here. Oh, Ruben. Yes.
Oh yeah.
A lot lately. Thank you. Tomorrow we're doing Black Monday Murders at 5 p.m.
So if you've read it and you want to join us in the chat to talk about Black Monday Murders, I may even try to come up with a zany, wacky theory about how Black Monday Murders fits in not only with East of West, but House of X, Powers of X, Dawn of X, X of Swords, Ten of Swords.
And I also promise that it will be better than our Hickman episode.
We're totally going to make up for it. So for anyone who knows, we did a whole episode on Jonathan Hickman's works, and we were so disastrously unprepared. So we're going to be a lot more prepared for this, but we're only talking about one book. So
yeah, so that helps. And then Monday, join us for
the Dune Over
with Cinia Reed, with my beautiful, wonderful friend Sid, at Cartoon Sid, and of course the Bene Gesserit Queen herself.
Hit me.
Yeah. And we will, with great and terrible purpose, read chapters 9 through 14 and discuss it.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds very imposing, thinking 9 through 14.
It kind of does, but I think that it's going to be about the same as we did last week. But I think also because last week I started early, I'm like, okay, I'm going to read like 2 chapters, and then I waited the rest of the week and didn't read it till Monday. So this time I'm actually going to like take tomorrow and I'm going to read all of the chapters tomorrow.
And then everybody didn't do it till the rest.
Yeah. And then Sydney didn't even read it at all. So
no, I don't even know. She caught. I got to send her a message to like, okay, accountability. Yeah, like if you can catch up with Dune early before we start getting deeper into where like prophetic dreams and shit, like it starts making you jump off in a couple of chapters.
Yeah.
Desert. So catch up if you can. New guy, enjoy your 14 chapters of reading. It's really not that bad. Like you can knock it out. But then again, I'm the same weirdo who, when Dance with Dragons came out for Game of Thrones, I took the whole week off to read it. I finished it tonight.
Speaking of which, are we gonna? Well, let's not even get into Game of Thrones right now because we're just over an hour. So,
what were you gonna ask?
I was just gonna say, when the fuck are we getting the next book? But does it really even matter at this point?
Not really.
No, I've given up hope.
I believe I have the power. It's really not that bad. Like the first chapters move really fast.
They do. Like there's a couple of chapters within like 1 through 14 that's like there are 3 or 4 pages left.
But they drop a shitload of info.
They do.
And again, like if there's things you need to ask us about, like just jot it down, just go in the chat that night, because at least 3 of us have all read it before, and some ungodly reason, I started watching Children of Dune when I got home the other day, and that was
How about this? How about at the beginning of this week's episode, I'm more than happy to go through a like, where are we now? Like, what have we? I'll do like try to do a mini recap of chapters 1 through 8. Is that where we're at?
yes.
Okay, so I'll do like a little mini recap of chapters 1 through 8. So maybe even if like you speed read through, which I don't recommend because you'll miss a whole bunch of stuff. But if you're reading it for the first time, long story short, just look out for the phrases infected with terrible purpose. Sydney said something about threes.
Yes.
And just make sure you get the names and then use the glossary in the back of the book because that is super helpful if you don't know what something is.
And
So yeah.
Duke, basically, they've said he's dead. There's no saving him. He's dead.
Yeah, that he's walking into this trap that he's well. So just go in knowing like those things, and I'll do a little recap before we get into the discussion about chapters 9 through 14.
By the way, on the rewatch, the face you made when Sid mentioned that someone was a bit of a cunt.
That's just because cunt is my favorite word, and so I was
You
probably
literally
like,
just started like going.
yeah.
And it killed me hearing her say
Yeah. Who did she say was a cunt?
Irulan.
Yeah, Irulan, and I'm like 100%. But yes, I agree.
I'll talk about Irulan later because
Yeah, kind of spoilery.
Sid might stop talking to me after I reveal something. But I kind of stand a certain character that she hates.
Yeah.
But that's for another day. So anyway, thank you everybody for joining us. I have to start getting ready for work.
I've got donuts to eat.
Join us.
I've got a Proud Boys to try to avoid in my fucking city, so we'll see.
Oh, is that happening again?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, so we'll see how tonight ends up going.
I predict tear gas.
Oh, there's been tear gas. I mean, so here's the thing is that they did go ahead and ban using tear gas. However, last month when stuff happened like this in town, someone died. So we'll see how many people die tonight. It's fucked up, but we'll see.
Making the news already.
Yeah, 100%. So, we'll see.
So yeah, it's Black Monday Murders tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific with our other co-host Gambit Inc.
I'm gonna try to get it.
And Monday the Dune over 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, whatever time land time, which doesn't really matter anymore.
Yeah.
So
it'll be 7 p.m. her time.
Yeah.
Because that's my time too.
Sadly 7 p.m. That's in Pacific time and not. Effing proud little boys.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. With their big old trucks.
Well, you gotta kind of make
up. Yeah, you gotta compensate for it somehow. So.
So until next week for this show, as we inch closer to 100 episodes, Carlito, message us your horror lists, and we will kind of make a decision. But I think Blackcoat's Daughter might be a good start to the month because that is one I keep forgetting to watch, and it's on Netflix. I still have my Netflix subscription. So yeah, all right, it's decided. Let's do Blackcoat's Daughter.
Pew! Let's do it.
All right, and see you next week. So long, farewell, Auf Wiedersehen.